Everybody, my name is Derek Tice, and I work for event setups here in the Union. And welcome to my presentation on how to assemble a stage without smashing your fingers. A little bit about me: I've been working here for event setups for about 2 years. It'll be 2 years actually by the end of November. I'm majoring in integrated studies. I'm going to be graduating in the spring. One of the main things that we actually do here at event setups is we actually assemble stages inside the small ballroom, the large ballroom, and outside on the south lawn on occasion, depending on what events are going on throughout the day. Assembling the stage is actually a pretty straightforward and simple process. It's just there can be times where you can have a miscommunication with some of your coworkers, or if you're not paying attention, there's a chance you could actually injure yourself, which we don't want that to happen. We're going to have a very quick icebreaker where I want us to kind of all just introduce your names and tell us what your favorite childhood movie was growing up. So I'll start off. Like I said, my name is Derek, and my favorite childhood movie growing up was The Sandlot. Jordan?
My name's Jordan Wright, and my favorite movie was The Breakfast Club.
My name is Valentin Lopez, and my favorite movie growing up was The Karate Kid.
My name is Rocky Wynn, and my favorite movie growing up was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
A lot of different taste in movies, but okay. So each of the pieces of the stage are the exact same, but they just have varying amounts of wear and tear from us running it through the building, hitting walls, doors, metal corners of hallways, and just general use. There are wheels at the bottom of each stage piece, so that way it's easier for us to move around the building with. And there are also hooks that are used to attach to each portion of the stage, so that way we won't run the risk of having a guest get on top of the stage, doing whatever it is that they're doing, and there's a possibility that the stage could shift if they're not attached together. The surface of the stage is actually dual-sided. So what that means is there's a carpeted side for indoor events, then there's a wooden side for outdoor events. So that way if there's any mud or sand or dirt on top of the stage, we can easily sweep it off or mop it off if we have to. Also, if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. This is the stages of the stage. As you can see to my left, that is the stage upright and ready to be moved around throughout the building. This is another angle of the same picture where you can actually see the 3 leads to the stage, the 2 leads here at the bottom, and then there's a middle one right here. There's also 2 hooks on each side of the stage that is used to attach to one another. Before you can actually set down the stage like you can here, you have to actually pull out these 2 bottom pieces, so that way you can pull out the middle. If you don't actually have the bottom pieces opened up, the stage is essentially locked in place. When you set down one half of the stage, it will look slightly off-centered, and that's because the other half hasn't been placed down yet. Once you do set the other piece half down, it will actually be completely smooth, and you can just adjust from there depending on where the stage is set. We use a lot of different designs for the stage, depending on what it is that the client actually wants. One of the main styles is essentially what I like to call a traditional stage, which is a 12-foot by 8-foot stage with just a podium on top, which is mostly just used for like if we have only one guest speaker, they're just going to be up there for a little bit. We also have a panel stage, which is for multiple guest speakers, so that way they can have enough space to actually sit down on stage and not have to try and squeeze between people. Some of the accessories that we actually use for the stage are black skirting and stairs. We use the black skirting so that way the guests won't look at the bottom of the stage and see all the metal and the wheels and everything else. We use the stairs so that way it'll be easier for them to climb, to go up and down the stage instead of trying to jump off that small gap. Oh, yes.
So generally, like for like the traditional and like the panel, normally how many like stage pieces are there? like for like a traditional wood panel.
All right, Rocky. So for a traditional stage piece, we usually use about 2 to 4 stage pieces. It mostly depends on what the client wants. So if it's just on maybe one speaker and it's going to be a fairly short event, they'll probably just have like 2 stage pieces, which would be a 12 by 8 or 16 by 8 stage. If they're going to have multiple guest speakers and they're going to have someone sitting on top of the stage as well, they may want a 16 by 12 or a 12 by 16 stage. So usually when that happens, we usually get our events coordinators, usually the middle person, to try and figure out what exactly it is that the client wants, and then we go from there.
Okay.
As previously stated, some of our stage accessories are black skirts for the bottom of the stage, which actually has Velcro on one side, so that way it can be just snapped onto the stage itself. Stairs with wheels, that way we can actually move them around. And we also have a power drill to flip the stage surface, depending on if we're going to be outside or inside. One of the other accessories that we use, but not as often, is a ramp, which is a nightmare to put up because it takes a lot of us to actually put it together, and it's very heavy. These are some of the stage accessories. To the left is actually a picture of one piece of stage skirting. It's about 7 feet long, and this is the inside portion of it, which is actually where the Velcro is. And on the stage piece itself, there's another strip of Velcro that is used on there. These are the stairs that we use for the stage. As you can see here, there's a small hook that is actually used to attach it to the stage itself, so that way it will stay in place. And we also have wheels. So some final tips before we actually go into 314C to actually put the stage together ourselves. You should always mark the center of the room first, so that way you can know where exactly you have to go and put the stage. Because if you don't mark the center of the room and you just set the stage down anywhere, it'll make everything else look very off, and then you're going to have to go back in and refix it after the fact, which we don't want to do, because then that would just delay the client from finishing their prep for their event. We should also figure out the stage dimensions before we actually go in and set the stage, which, thank you, Rocky, for asking that question, because it actually goes along with this. If we don't know what the stage dimensions are, that makes it a lot harder for us, because then we'll have to go and kind of guess and try and figure out what it exactly is that the client wants. So when that happens, the events coordinator will usually get into contact with the client, figure out what exactly it is that they want, and then we can go from there. Sometimes what the client wants, we won't actually be able to provide completely, so we'll have to go and adjust it. But if that happens, usually we will still talk to the client and let them know why we can't do exactly what we can't do. And then you should always have a sketch of the room. While the final product may not look exactly like the sketch itself, it's always good to have it as a point of reference, so that way we can see like how it should look, and we can try and get it as close as we can to the final look. Thank you for sitting in on the PowerPoint portion of the training. Now we're actually going to head to 314C to actually put a stage together ourselves. So for the second portion of this hands-on tutorial for assembling the stage, we're going to put up a very simple stage here inside 314C. This is an actual sketch of the stage itself. It is, let's get a shot. There's a 16 by 12 stage along the south wall, which is actually right here. It's like the venue. But before we can actually put the stage together, we have to actually flip the surface of one of the stage pieces. So, first thing that we're going to do is pull this particular stage piece out a little bit more. So that way we can actually set it down as a flat surface. So that way we can actually use a power drill to put the stage on the correct side. You're going to help help me out. So first, we actually have to figure out, we have to take out the screws inside each of the surfaces, so that way we can actually lift the floor up. So Rocky, if you would. All the surfaces are the exact same. So the next thing that we're going to have to do is mark the center of the room. Val, would you like to tell us where the center of the room is on the south wall?
If I'm not mistaken, center of the room would be about right here.
All right, where? You say it's about where this light is?
I'd say so.
I would say that is correct. All right. Now that we've marked the center of the room, we know the stage dimensions, which is 16 by 12. Now we need to figure out which side, yes, which side of the stage will be on the outer portion. So, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, depending on what the stage dimensions are, that will determine which side would be on the outer portion of the stage and which side would be on the inner portion. So, for example, a 16 by 12 stage, the outside would be the 8 feet combined. And then the 6-foot side would actually be on the inner portion of the stage itself. We have one portion of the stage actually already set down and the hooks already prepped and ready. The next part is we will be putting down the other back half of the stage itself. So, like I said during the presentation, first thing that you'll have to do is pull out the leads so that way you can actually move this stage piece down.
Gotcha.
So what you're going to need to do is actually put your foot on the base itself, lift the front leads, and pull down. And as you pull down, the stage will actually land on the other hook.
Gotcha.
As you can see, it still is slightly off, but that's because the back half hasn't been set down yet. So Val, if you can come over here, and you can.
So, the two legs, get your foot, grab right here.
Yes, sir.
Set it up on the edge right there.
And then when this happens, sometimes the stage itself will actually be flush with one another, but there are times where the stage will actually be shifted a little bit more. And you can take a look right here. This portion of the stage is actually a little bit off. So all you have to do is just lift, push, and it should line up. And then from there, it's just a small little touch to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. And this is the part where things can get kind of dangerous. As you can see here, there's not really a whole lot of space for me to move around in terms of actually setting down the stage. So what you have to do is same process as pulling down the stage any other point. It's just now, instead of actually setting it down while I'm back here, because I don't want to get squished, step to the side, hold onto it, and then we're just going to slowly bring it down, and we're going to have to, you can come back over to the side and just push the stake, and set it down like that. And that is how you put down the stage without actually injuring yourself. Now we're actually going to start skirting down on the stage. And one of the things I want to actually bring up is when we say a 16 by 12 stage, we mean 16 feet deep into the crowd and then 12 feet long. So that's the reason why the stage is actually what's a lot longer. So it's 16 feet coming down this way, and then it's 12 feet coming down with it. So now that we actually have the stage completely set, you now put the skirting onto the stage. And as you can see, this is the Velcro that's going to be attached to the Velcro that is on the stage right here. You can hear a very annoying sound. What you're going to do is take the one section of the skirting and just firmly press it onto the stage itself, and it'll start to stick. And you can just continue doing that along the way, just like so. Now, Rocky, you will continue.
Okay.
And each section of the skirting will actually have a Velcro on the other side that can actually attach itself as well. So that way it will be it will almost look like it's one single very large piece of skirt for the stage. Now that we have the skirting set on one side, you can actually go on and set the stairs. The final part of putting the stage together is actually setting the stairs. Usually, sometimes when we have to actually set the stairs, the hoods that are attached to the stage may be on one side of the stairs. If that's the case, then you have to shift the stairs either further towards the front of the stage or closer to the back of the stage, so that way the hoods on the stairs won't hit the hoods on the bottom of the stage. So what you're going to do to move the stairs is just tilt the stairs back, so that we'll land on the wheels. Just roll it over, turn it around. I have to adjust slightly so that way it can be flush with the stage itself. Tilt forward. There you go. Next up, what you're going to do, Rocky, is pull this piece of the skirting off a little bit. And then just lift the hook. Turn it around. Under me. Turn this hook around again. And then we're going to push the stage up so that way it will be flush. And then Rocky, you will just lift the hook on this outside. And then if you can see this screw here at the bottom, you just turn it righty-tighty to tighten it up. And then you come over here and you actually do it again on the other side. So I'm just going to put it flush against the stage. Lift the hook. Underneath the stage, like so. Lift, and you turn it righty-tighty, and it hooks into the stage. So now, if you can actually come over here to the middle of the room, we have the majority of the stage actually set up. And so this is an example of a 16 by 12 stage that we sometimes use here inside the bar. Usually it's actually a 12 by 16 stage where the 16 feet is actually wide, but I want to do something a little bit different. Thank you for my audience for participating in this presentation. And next time, I will teach you guys how to put the ramp and set up Scrappy.